Three, two, one. Welcome to the SaaS Pulse Show. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent. And super excited today. I have an amazing SaaS founder who is super, super big into partnerships. We didn't talk about Green Bay, but he probably likes Green Bay because he's from Wisconsin. So Kenny Browne, he is the founder and CEO of Partner Fleet, based in Bristol, right? Everybody knows Bristol. And he runs this company, Partner Fleet, which is a white label app marketplace, an integration marketplace. He's going to tell you all about this and how it adds value to partner-led growth. So it's great to have you on the call, Kenny.
Yeah, super excited to be here. I will just correct one thing. I'm originally from California, so the Niners are still my team.
Niners.
But the Packers are a good backup for me.
Yeah, that's so yeah, let's jump right into it here. What I always love to start with, where you can introduce yourself and talk about your superhero backstory. So I'm a big superhero fan. What about your journey? So your journey that led you to where you are at Partner Fleet, right? What does that look like? And tell the audience about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually, in my opinion, a very unique and different journey than what a lot of people who become founders go through. Is I started my career working in technical support. So I was on the customer success team and technical support, working for a sales-oriented company, soft SaaS company. But I moved in and started taking on engineering projects. So I was writing code that were secondary projects to the company. I then went to G2 as the fifth employee.
Wow.
As an engineer, one of their first engineering hires. I was there responsible for a lot of the feature sets that are in it still today.
Nice.
As the lead engineer, eventually product manager, and I actually moved into partnerships and owning all of the integration infrastructure for G2. And so I learned a handful of things. I learned that people buy software differently today than they did 20 years ago. Honestly, they buy software differently today than they did pre-COVID. And I learned that partnerships and ecosystem provide tremendous value to companies because the network that they can generate is huge. And so ultimately moving through and into partnerships, that's where Partner Fleet came from. I actually did run technology partnerships for a couple companies. I did the evaluation of all the tech that was out there and noticed a large gap for companies that wanted to launch a large integration ecosystem. Companies who wanted to do something like what Salesforce and HubSpot have done with their app exchanges and their app stores. So that's ultimately where I moved into Partner Fleet from.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we're all about partnerships right now. I mean, partnerships for everybody out there is working, right? So referrals is working, right? So tell us about the inspiration, right? So Partner Fleet, what was the actual, can you pinpoint the inspiration behind Partner Fleet? How did it all get created?
Yeah, so I actually went to a company offsite where we did a lot of strategy sessions, and being responsible for tech partnerships, that was a key piece. We had 11 product lines. I was responsible for bringing in partners that would work with all of them, generate referrals and all of that. And I realized the biggest gap we had was alignment between the sales, marketing teams and our partners. So we had partnerships that our customers were asking sales teams for, that the sales team's like, oh, we don't have that, right? There was a big just gap in information there. So I went ahead and actually started building this idea of an app store at that company by myself. I was doing it. It was my COVID nights and weekends for the company project. And as soon as we launched that, I saw amazing success. While I was doing this, Partnership Leaders, which was a community geared towards people in partnerships, launched. And I was one of the first members there. And I got to talk to VPs of partnerships, directors of partnerships who were facing the same challenges I was. And I realized that there was something here. And this just got, as I mentioned a minute ago, exacerbated by the fact that in COVID, everyone was doing digital buying. So when you're doing purely digital buying, all of their questions need to be answered via your website, via your digital journey that you're providing customers. And integrations and partnerships are a key element to how most people want to buy software. They don't want to buy one thing. and have one product and do everything. They want an integrated solution that works with their CRM, works with their marketing automation, works with their CS tools. And so if they can't figure out if your product does that, they're not even submitting a lead anymore. And when all of this kind of came to culmination, I realized there was something here. And that's when I started building Partner Fleet.
Yeah, and you kind of got into my next question here, but just to solidify it, give you some good content to use and for the audience, describe your product. Give us the high level elevator pitch. What's the product? What's the value proposition?
What we've done with Partner Fleet is we've created a white labeled app store or partner marketplace solution. And so you can think of the ones like the Salesforce App Exchange, the HubSpot ecosystem with thousands of partners, integrations, and apps listed in them. But we've productized it so that instead of having a 10-person engineering team running it, you use us and it's all point and click. And we are doing the full process, as I described it the other day, from app creation all the way through to monetization is the direction we're going. So you can have a partner come in, build their integration with you, and then start charging customers to utilize that integration immediately.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job of these questions here. I think you prepared because you're rolling right into the next question. So what sets your company apart? So people in the audience, people listening, they're interested. I mean, I'm interested. What's your differentiator? So why Partner Fleet?
I've got a personal reason for that and then more of a product reason. But the personal one is I actually lived this problem, and so did my co-founder. Both of us ran partnerships, technology and affiliate partnerships at previous companies. And so we know what challenges we faced. We've interfaced with hundreds of partner leaders and really taken the challenges they have. But then I add in my background from G2, where we were learning how people were buying things, and I learned what marketplace really could be through the G2 marketplace, and we brought that together to create a customer-centric place where your partnerships actually drive value for you, your customer, and your partner. So you're actually creating that entire trifecta of success through Partner Fleet.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the ICP, right? So the ideal customer profile. So again, for people listening, we're all about adding value to SaaS startups and tech startups. So if you could help Kenny, throw him a lead, right? Get something to him, set up, that would be amazing. So what does the ICP look like?
Right now, we're actually selling to a lot of mid-market SaaS companies and earlier stage companies that have integrations as a core element to what they do. And part of the reason is because we actually not only have that public offering of the public marketplace, but we have the in-app marketplace. So if a company has 30 integrations and they need their customers to engage and enable those integrations all within their product, we support that full flow as well. And so we are starting to see that the product teams and the go-to-market teams are the ones that are coming to us. But generally, it's a company with partnerships as a focus. They're increasing the number of integration partners and agency and SI partners they have over the coming year. And we're doing really well in that mid-market and lower enterprise space.
Nice. Nice. I mean, obviously, I see a lot of partnership here. You know, obviously, just like, so all we work with is SaaS and tech startups. So this is amazing. So it's awesome to be connected to you. So challenges, right? So you've been at it now for 3.5 years, going on 4 years, right? So what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome? You know, describe those challenges and what did you do?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the biggest challenge I've faced and I continue to face is imposter syndrome. It's a little bit of that 0 to 1 where it's like, why am I the one to do this? Why am I the right CEO for the company? Why is my product the right one? And that's just a challenge that I've faced throughout my entire career, actively working on getting past that. But I also recognize that that comes with the valleys and peaks of entrepreneurship, right? It's some days things feel amazing and this is the best ever. And some days it's like really rough. And the biggest thing I had to learn was I know I'm passionate about this. And so when I hit those low points, I have to continue to trust my passion to know I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, don't worry about, like, it's so funny, posture and syndrome. Like you need people around you I mean, you got it. I mean,
Yes.
you got a product, you got customers, you need people around you that are going to build you up. So my biggest thought around imposter syndrome is the team around you, the people around you, the advisors around you, right?
Hmm.
Those types of things like that know you. And like, obviously you just sometimes you got to talk to somebody. I mean, like it's like you just you literally got to talk to somebody about anything, right? So that's my recommendation there. But just kind of rolling into talent, how do you look at talent, right? So talent, people, recruiting, like what are your thoughts around that and how do you do that within your company?
Yeah, so my overall goal whenever I'm doing any sort of talent search or recruiting or even looking at new roles is I'm looking for someone who can do it better than me. Because if I'm looking for someone where I can do it better than them, I'm looking for the wrong person, right? I need to trust them that they're going to take it on. And right now, we're actually in the search for a couple different roles in the organization. And we've had a little bit of challenge because they're more junior roles of like, where do we post this, right? How do we get the right information in there um, for our sales side? For our engineering side, we're actually doing everything right now out of Brazil. And that one has been a challenge just because finding a network in Brazil is difficult, but the talent has been fantastic, at least when we've found them. But on the US side, it is more difficult. We're hiring a CSM and a BDR right now. And there's so many people looking, there's so many people in career transition right now that it adds a lot of overhead when we don't have any of the tooling in place to, automatically validate any sort of resumes or trigger things like that. And it's all manual. So when we get 100 resumes in, we're reading 100 resumes.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. I mean, right now in the US, there's so many people that apply that, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest challenge. A lot of people are doing it themselves
Mm-hmm.
because the talent's out there. But yeah, there's a lot of DIY in talent. A lot of I mean, we know that firsthand. But you're rolling through this like a champ, Kenny. I got to tell you, very succinct. This is the most succinct podcast that we've had so far. So, 2 to 3 biggest piece of advice. I always like this with founders because you're a startup founder. How could you help other founders here? So, what are the 2 or 3 biggest piece of advice that you can give early and growth stage founders?
The top ones for me are mostly personal. I mentioned this one earlier, but you truly need to be passionate about the problem you're solving and the people you're solving it for. Because if you're just doing it because you think it's going to be a paycheck or you think there's a big opportunity at the end, when you hit those struggles, you're going to want to give up. And that passion is really important. It also is going to help you create and care the most about creating the best solution out there and the best business out there. The other piece of advice I'll give is, and this was personally for me again, my wife had to be the first person to sign off on this, and my family as a whole, because being an entrepreneur affects your family. There are days where I'm out on the road for 3 weeks out of the month or even 4 weeks out of the month, and having that support at home and surrounding yourself, as you mentioned, not just from your family, but with your advisors, with your team members, with everyone that you're involving with that are going to help you stay strong and focused is really valuable. And then the other piece of advice I can give is know why you're going into it and what you're whatever it is, whether you're doing your 2020 or your FY25 planning, your FY24 planning, know why you're going through it and don't just think about the numbers, because the why will help you align internally and externally everything you want to do. And then when you get a question of like on the day to day of your tactical, hey, should I be wasting my time or spending my time doing this thing? Does it fit that why? If it's yes, then it's probably valuable. If it doesn't fit the why, refocus your time and energy. And that's something I had to learn through my advisors and through many mistakes that I made in focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah, I'm dealing with the family stuff. I mean, so the entrepreneur, right? It's like you gotta. I actually just saw a great video that I'll send you on from Thomas Bellew. I don't know if you ever listen to him. He literally had his wife on and they were literally talking about how they work together. And I was like, this is amazing. But again, most succinct. Kenny Browne, he is the founder and CEO of Partner Fleet, and he's a Niner fan. He's a Niner fan, but he lives in Wisconsin. That's kind of nutty to me. He's no cheeseheads. But Kenny, it was awesome having you on the show, and I'm looking forward to following your journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, great.